Greetings on this 6th day of June 2022. So there's your 666. It's a power day. According to the meme I got sent, thank you Tina, now we've come to a crossroads. So we're going to go this way. I've never been down here before, but let's just go for it and we'll just see where we go. I don't know how many of you remember there used to be a TV show called, what was it called? Catchphrase. And the host was I think he was an Irishman, so Gaelic, Galilee, little clue there, and his name was Roy Walker. Roy in French means king, and Walker, wow. What kind of walk are we talking about here? You got like a Luke Skywalker. You got the Skywalker up there. That's the sun. And yeah, the program was called Catchphrase. And it's so easy to get caught. But what is a phrase? It's a sequence of notes and spaces in music. That's you can have a musical phrase. Where are we going with this? All over the place basically. Anyway, Roy Walker would say, take away a square to the contestants, and he'd say what you see. And it involves a bit of lateral thinking, a bit of fluidity of thought. And he'd invariably say, it's a good answer, but it's not right. And that's very much dovetails into something I was listening to the other day, and it's a brilliant analogy. Rudolf Steiner, talking about the triangle. And I'd like to use that as an analogy. I sort of touched on it. Was it the last video? And I said picture a car. I said picture a car, but what about if you picture the car? And same as the triangle. How are you going to show me the triangle or the car or the any object? The horse, the sky, the cloud, the tree. It just can't be done, because as soon as you try and bring it into this reality, it can only take one form. So you cannot ever draw the triangle. So let me just explain that. So if I said to you, draw me the triangle, I mean it's a clue if I put the emphasis on the part, but if I say to you, draw the triangle, invariably, I would imagine most of you will draw an equilateral triangle. But what about the right-angled triangle, or the triangle with the obtuse angle? You can do it with your mind. You can picture the triangle, and you can have that triangle moving simultaneously in the mind. You can picture it, and you can see it change form, you can see it change shape. Let's give you another one here. Now, we'll pick on this. Let's pick on this one. It's a job to see what you're going to be seeing through this on the video, because the bright light on the screen. It's amazing how with Kindle books they can tell you about, they can give you a screen that can see in any light, but obviously that's technology being held back to sell you yet another phone. Anyway, the tree, or in this case a tree. Now, I think it's fair to say that the fact is you're only seeing half the picture, because you cannot see all of that tree. You cannot see the roots. So basically you're down to 50%. The other 50% is hidden. And of course we're seeing it as I'm looking at it now, and as you're looking at it on the recording. You're looking at a two-dimensional, I'm looking at a three-dimensional, as it were. We're looking at a snapshot of time of the tree, or a tree. And we're seeing it from one angle. But this baby up here If we can get it in the picture. It don't sit still. It's cleverly sort of, or very thinly disguised in religions when we talk about the sun. Well, I'm sure many of you have done it with the sun, where you get a magnifying glass, so you intensify it and onto one spot, and what does it do? It will start burning. So, if we do like the sun, so I can give you a fact about this tree, that it's got slightly more branches on its left side than its right side. It's a fact, but only from this perspective. If I was to move around that tree, you'll get a very different picture of the same object. Another example of this is in art, where you have an art studio and whatever the still life is in the middle, if you have your painters sitting around in a circle, they're going to be showing you the same subject from completely different perspectives and give you completely different pictures of the same thing. So when you do it with the mind, you can do it all at once. So not only can you see the tree. Now let me paint a picture here for you. When I say I'm painting a picture, obviously I have no canvas and I have no brush. So it's a picture for the mind. So I paint you a picture of this tree. Now, we've already discussed that you're only seeing half of the physical tree, the side that is in light. You're not seeing the root ball. But then, when we take the tree a bit further, and in the mind, you can use your imagination. How about this one? And you can imagine, from a seed, the entire life of that tree. The potential of what happens to it, whether it grows, whether it reaches its maturity and then starts to decay and return to earth, because everything in this reality remains once it's gone. That's why it's called remains. They remain here because it is a part of this solid reality. But what is this reality? Very pleased to see that many more of you are looking at Ben, That City channel. Computer World, he's done part 1. It's the best hour you'll ever spend. Also listen to Archaix channel and talk about the Annus Mundi and the fact that we're in the year 5916 heading towards the Phoenix event. Lots of wonderful things are happening. But if you fix to a perspective, you effectively crucify yourself. It is expressed in the Bible, which has been, its spiritual meaning is almost lost because it has been turned into a literal historical story from one perspective. So the irony of it is, if you listen to it interpreted in that singular way, you do become Lot's wife, because you are looking back and you are fixing yourself to something that you think you know. But it is all about energy flow. It is all about fluidity. Like when you look at that triangle, when you look at a car, a tree, or whatever object, with the fluidity of the mind, you'll see the whole picture that you will not see with the two eyes of the deceiver in this reality. You want to find a devil or a Satan, well, it's your two eyes. It's the external presentation. This is a realm of duality. It is contrasts. If you have a perfection, a heaven, shall we say, a paradise, how are you going to experience the opposite of that without the contrast? If we look at this in terms of creation, for example. If you're creating something, you are therefore producing something, as in procreate, production line. So the factor I, the factory, the factor, the facts that are presented to your eyes and to your spiritual eye. Let's go and have a look at this weir. The power of water. The flow. It's wonderful. The contrast in the stillness, the violence. It's all a flow. Anyway, we'll get back to the topic. So, when you consider that this realm, for example, is subject to time, it is linear. So therefore, the fact is like a factory, a production line. If you're producing anything and creating anything, whatever product you want to create and what you want to sell to the masses, you're going to need a diagnostic department for testing out the product to make sure that it is perfect and it is working perfectly. So that really is what the experience of man is all about. It is testing out in numerous ways. As Ben said, it's trying to describe the indescribable. But if you're doing it, what's happened to this? Oh, it's still running. It's saying SIM card removed. This phone plays up every now and again, and I have to turn it off. So hopefully this is still record. Ben, and by the way, Ben means sun or within, depending on whether you're going with Hebrew or Gaelic. It's the same thing really. And there's no coincidences, as is shown with gematras and things, whatever you look at, which has reminded me of something else I'll come to in a moment that's a bit of a sort of hot topic, as it were, with a lot of people. But the diagnostic, let's have a look at, just break down the word. You've got die. So you've got die in the DYE sense for casting objects. You have die as in death, transformation. It is the prefix of diagram. You have agnostic, you have gnostic. It's all contained in that word. That is what this realm is. It's a diagnostic zone. There is no evil per se. There is only an evil from a mortal perspective, or if you're confronted with a opposite perspective to that which is yours. So I could say basically that all religions to me are evil because they have an opposite perspective. In fact, I would go so far as to say that anybody that is pushing a particular religion is doing basically a mind fuck, which is no better or worse than someone who's trying to sell or befriend you and try and get you hooked on heroin. Same thing at the end of the day, because it is all fixing you and it becomes your own crucifix. Because you lose that fluidity of thought. You're unable to see things from different angles, from different perspectives. You are not being like the sun, which is sort of a fundamental to Christianity, for example. They're always talking about this, and yet their actions and words do not match. So the big topic at the moment, or has been, now the only thing I really know about this is from watching True Love Channel. So if you want to get a perspective on this, was it a divorce case? It's been pushed in the media. It's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Oh, just step back from that. I don't go that Johnny deep into anything. I mean, Johnny, that's a condom. It's stopping creation. Depp, it's just a play on words of deep. Now, the opposing character in that story is referred to as misheard. So have you misheard, or What about if it's Amber Heard? Well, let's think in terms of traffic lights. What is an amber light? It is saying caution. Be careful what you hear, be careful what you see. It's inviting you to pick a side with one of those two characters, or you can stay neutral and neutralise the whole thing. It has no energy. That's all I'm going to say on that particular subject, because I have no interest in it, and it's just another theatre show on this world stage. What you find also on this world stage, when you start seeing things from multiple dimensions, multiple perspectives, it gets very difficult to talk to people who have this crucified mindset, and they're only seeing it, say, from the material realm. So we're talking different languages completely. Although it seems to be the same language, it is not the same language, and this can be something of a problem. So silence is golden most of the time. But I thought we'd come out, and yeah, what a lovely tranquil spot. So I've rabbited away, and I'm not even noticing it, because I'm not even seeing with the eyes as I'm talking. I'm sort of taking myself out of the awareness of nature, so I've now brought myself back into it. Because I'm number 4 in this being, this body. It confuses a lot of people. They say, oh, you've had a channel for X number of years, and no, that wasn't me. Well, it was not I should say, is more correct. This realm, when a book gets old, will get a new cover. But remember, it's duality. I'm not interested in the covers. They could be bright, shiny, cosmopolitan magazines, but what about the contents of that magazine? Is it a pile of shit? Is it just material nonsense? Or is there something of deeper value that is worth looking at? There is one guarantee I can tell you about, and that's the dance. Not the dance that, oh, I've forgotten his name, Alan Watts. Yeah, Alan Watts talks about the dance of life. I'm talking about the dance that comes next, the doorway, the thing that most people fear, that is inevitable, called death. That's where you dance with my sister. And you'll be like Venus. You'll be cleaved apart like that oyster shell, and you'll be looking for that pearl inside, and you'll be spat back in and come to do it all again until that oyster pearl grows into something worth harvesting. And this reality does it all the time with everything, in one form or another. I mean, no offence, trees, but look how they've been morphed by man and turned into furniture or paper. It's almost a shame, really, because trees create the balance, like the ebb and flow. They provide the oxygen from the carbon, an exchange, and it just keeps running. What a beautiful exchange, and it's freely given. Otherwise, we couldn't go through this experience without them. So I've no desire to chop them down. Let them grow. Let them just be. Are we not having an experience of being a human being? And it's all about just being. So that personality has now gone again. You got me to talk to. But this is just a channel. But it ain't just a YouTube channel. It's a channel through one or more vessels to express in vibrations that you call words, to try and bring a bit of clarity to the duality, so you don't crucify yourself to just one perspective, that you see things from all perspectives. And then the realization comes that there is no real evil as such in this world. There is nothing that can actually harm you. And all the answers you actually seek are the last place you look, which is inside you. So however long we've been talked here for, far too long, 20 minutes. That's going to take a while to upload, so I'm going to say ta-ta for now. Love to you all, and may your day or night or whatever time factor, calendar, whatever you want to put onto it, affix to it, is beautiful and wonderful, and something that you'll get the best benefit from. Ta-ta for now.